Hi guys, it's Mrs. Wine. Welcome back to art class. This week, I'm going to show you the steps you would need to take if you want to try making a Yayoi Kusama inspired pumpkin at home on your own. The supplies you will need are construction paper, a black marker, scissors, glue, and some white paper for sketching. So once you have gathered these supplies, let's get started. I'm going to start with the white sketching paper. If you watch the video, you will know that Yayoi Kusama was inspired by objects in nature. And we can use simple shapes to draw objects. You could certainly use a big oval or a big circle to draw a pumpkin, but today I'm going to show you something that's just a little bit different. This is how I like to draw a pumpkin inspired by Yayoi Kusama. I start with a big long oval right in the middle of my paper. That's going to be the center section of my pumpkin. Then I'm just going to add on a few more sections. It's like I'm drawing a big backwards C shape and then a big C shape on the other side. Almost like the ovals would overlap. And then I just add one more smaller C shape on each side and a little rectangle at the top for the stem. That's how I draw my pumpkin. So I would recommend, if you want to do a pumpkin, that you practice on some white sketching paper first. Then, once you think you're pretty good at it, you can do the same thing on construction paper. So here you see my construction paper pumpkin that I drew, and I used the scissors to cut that out. I'm also going to need a piece of background paper, and I have another little paper for my stem. So then I just need to put those pieces together. I'm going to take my stem, I'm going to touch the tip of the glue to the paper. You could also use glue stick. Notice I put just a little tiny bit of glue. I'm going to glue my stem on. And then I'm also going to put glue all the way around the outside. So if you're using liquid glue, just like we would in class, you don't hold the glue above the paper, you touch the glue right to the paper, and you draw a super thin line along the edge of the shape. Not too close to the edge because you don't want the glue to squish out the sides. Then I can take that, I turn it over, and I glue it down onto my background piece. Notice I like to use different colors. Instead of making my pumpkin orange, which is a color we usually think of when we think about pumpkins, I made my pumpkin purple because I thought that would be more interesting and more fun. Now, Yayoi Kusama is known as the polka dot princess. So the next step is just filling your pumpkin with those Yayoi Kusama polka dots. Now, you could use a black marker for that. And I notice when I look at Yayoi Kusama's work, that she's not just splattering dots everywhere. Her dots seem to follow a path, or they follow a line. So I'm starting with some really big dots going right down the center of the pumpkin. And then I'm going to add some smaller dots to each section. Now you could certainly continue that with the marker just by drawing circles and coloring it in. Or if you want to have some fun, and if you have paint at home, I took a little bit of black paint and I poured it on this plate. And I just have a regular Q-tip. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the end of the Q-tip, dip it in black, and then I can make my dots using that Q-tip. I just continue getting some paint on the Q-tip, and then I just press it down to make those dots. You could even use a combination of marker and paint. But I'm just gonna keep filling each section with my Yayoi Kusama dots. If I wanna make them a little bit smaller, instead of pressing the Q-tip so hard, I just touch the tip barely to the paper. And that's it. I would just keep going, creating the dots in each section of my pumpkin until I have a Yayoi Kusama inspired artwork. So I hope you have some fun with this. I know that all of my first graders who come to the building on C Day have been studying Yayoi Kusama with me, so this is not new to them. This is the project that they are doing in class. But I thought the rest of you might have fun learning about her too, because she's such an interesting and exciting artist. If you choose to make a Yayoi Kusama inspired pumpkin of your own this week, remember to take a picture and to send me that picture on Google Classroom, or you could send it on Dojo. Have a great week and keep on creating.